I always thought my biggest problem in life was paying rent on time. Turns out, the real issue was being claimed by a demon in the middle of a New York back alley. Yeah, rent suddenly seemed adorable compared to having my soul stalked. The night it happened, I was stupid enough to think cutting through the alley would save me 5 minutes. Instead, I walked straight into hell. Literally. The air shifted, colder than it had any right to be, and shadows twisted unnaturally along the brick walls. Then he appeared like a nightmare dressed in black silk, tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes that gleamed as if they knew every single secret I had ever buried. "You smell. Fascinating," he murmured, stepping closer. His voice was smooth, dangerous, like the edge of a blade caressing the throat. I should have run. I should have screamed. Instead, I froze. My heartbeat thundered, not entirely from fear, because beneath all that menace, there was something magnetic, something that pulled at me even as I whispered, "What the hell are you?" His smile was the kind that promised ruin. "A demon. Your demon, to be precise." I laughed, hysterical, sharp, the kind you let out when you're already standing at the edge of disaster. "Oh, that's rich. My demon. That's a new pickup line." But he wasn't joking. I felt it when his fingers brushed mine, heat that seared, yet strangely didn't hurt. His eyes softened, just for a breath, and the dangerous mask slipped, revealing something more raw, almost human. That moment was the beginning of the end. His name, I would later learn, was Damien. Fitting, wasn't it? The kind of name you gave to a villain who destroyed worlds. Except instead of ending mine in one swift strike, he lingered, followed, obsessed. At first, it was terrifying. Imagine trying to get coffee at Starbucks and sensing a 6'2" demon in a tailored black coat watching you from across the street. Every nerve screamed danger, yet my chest tightened with something I couldn't name. He wasn't just lurking, was waiting. For me. And then came the questions. Why me? I demanded one night when he appeared in my apartment uninvited, leaning against my window like he owned the place. Why not just kill me and be done with it? His reply was simple, almost cruel in its honesty. Because I don't want your life. I want your heart. The silence that followed was unbearable. My heart, something fragile, messy, human, was what captivated him. Not my soul, not my body as some kind of vessel, but the stupid organ that broke every time someone left me. I should have been disgusted. Instead, I found myself whispering, "That's the worst line I've ever heard." But I couldn't ignore the tremor in my voice, or the way his eyes darkened with something close to longing. Life with Damien became a twisted game of survival. He hovered at the edges of my world, slipping into my days like an uninvited storm. My friends noticed my distraction. My boss noticed my exhaustion. What they didn't see was the war inside my, fear clashing with a dangerous kind of desire. He was cruel sometimes, testing me, pushing me against walls, caging me with his presence until my knees went weak. And yet, in the next breath, he would do something unbearably tender, like placing his coat over my shoulders when I shivered in the cold. It drove me insane. One evening, under the neon glow of a convenience store, I snapped. "You're ruining my life." I spat, hands trembling. "I can't sleep. I can't breathe without feeling you everywhere. Why won't you let me go?" He stepped close, too close, until the scent of him smoke, fire, something ancient wrapped around me. His hand cupped my face, surprisingly gentle. "Because letting you go would mean I lose the only thing that ever made me feel human." My chest cracked open at his words, torn between anger and the undeniable ache inside me. For the first time, I saw him not as the predator who haunted me, but as something fractured, desperate, lonely. And that was dangerous, because the more human I saw him, the less I wanted to escape. It was New York winter when everything changed. Snow painted the city white, and I found myself standing beside him on a rooftop, the skyline burning in lights below. He looked out over the city as if it bored him, but when his gaze shifted to me, his entire being sharpened, alive. "You're still afraid," he said softly. "Of course I'm afraid," I shot back. "You're a demon, and yet you're here." The truth in his words stung. I was there, standing too close, letting the wind whip through us, letting my pulse betray me. His hand brushed mine, just a touch, just enough to send sparks racing through my veins. And for the first time, I didn't pull away. The rooftop became our battlefield that night, though no blood was spilled. The war was between what I wanted to believe and what my heart already knew. I told myself demons couldn't love, that every touch of his was manipulation, every stolen glance a trick. But then Damien's voice broke through the howling wind, low and raw, almost trembling. I've destroyed cities. I've taken lives without remorse. But you undo me just by existing. I turned to him, anger swelling, because how could he say things like that and expect me not to break? Stop. You can't just show up in my life, ruin it, and then pretend you're some tragic hero. You're a monster, Damien. A monster. His jaw tightened. His eyes burned, but not with rage, something worse. Pain. If being a monster is the price of loving you, then I'll wear it proudly. I wanted to scream, to run, but my feet betrayed me. My chest betrayed me, because in that moment I believed him. Against all reason, I believed that a demon, a being carved from fire and shadow, could love something as small and breakable as me. But love didn't make the danger disappear. If anything, it made things worse. His world began bleeding into mine. Strange figures lingered on the streets at night, their eyes hollow, their whispers sharp. Shadows moved where light should have erased them. One evening, I returned home to find my apartment door clawed open, furniture overturned. Damien stood in the wreckage, blood streaking his temple, and for the first time I saw him hurt. "They're coming for you," he rasped, collapsing against my wall. "Because I want you, because I love you. They'll take you to punish me." Fear clawed up my spine, but it wasn't just for me. I pressed a trembling hand to his wound, trying to hold him together. "Then stop this. Let me go, Damien. If I leave, they won't come after me." He caught my wrist, weak but stubborn. "No. I'd rather burn the world than lose you." I hated him for saying it. I hated how much it made me ache. The breaking point came weeks later, when one of his enemies finally cornered us. It was in another alley, as if fate loved irony. The figure was tall, cloaked in darkness deeper than Damien's, eyes glowing red with hunger. "You've grown soft," the stranger sneered. "A demon in love with a mortal? Pathetic." Before I could blink, claws lashed toward me. Damien's body moved faster than thought, shoving me back, taking the blow across his chest. The sound of it tearing flesh, his hiss of pain split me in half. I should have run. I should have left him to his war. But instead, I grabbed the nearest thing I could, a broken pipe, and stood at his side like an idiot human daring to fight monsters. "Touch him again," I shouted, shaking, "and I'll die," the figure finished mockingly. But Damien's laugh, bloody and broken, echoed beside me. "That's where you're wrong. He's stronger than you think. He's mine." With a surge of fire, Damien's power erupted. The alley shook, shadows splintered, and the enemy shrieked before dissolving into ash. When the smoke cleared, Damien collapsed against me, heavy and trembling. "You should have run," he whispered. I held him tighter, voice breaking. "And leave you? Not a chance." That night, as I carried him back, I realized the truth I had been fighting. I loved him. Not the demon he was supposed to be, but the broken, relentless, impossible man he became with me. Days blurred into nights as I cared for him, watched him heal. He tried to push me away with sharp words, but I saw the way his hand always found mine in sleep, the way his eyes softened when he thought I wasn't looking. One evening, when the snow had melted and spring painted the city in soft colors, we stood together at the same rooftop where everything had changed. The skyline stretched endless, but his gaze never left me. "You know this won't be easy," he said quietly. "My world will always bleed into yours. Danger will never leave your side if you stay." I stepped closer, until our foreheads touched. "Life was never easy, Damien, but with you, at least it feels alive." His hand cupped my cheek, thumb brushing against my skin as if memorizing it. You should hate me. Maybe I do, I whispered, smiling through the ache in my chest. But I love you more. And when he kissed me, it wasn't the kiss of a demon claiming his prey. It was the kiss of a man who had finally found the thing he thought he was never meant to have. The world didn't magically fix itself. Shadows still lingered, enemies still whispered, but I stopped running. I chose him, in all his darkness, because in his arms I found something brighter than any light. And Damien me demon, my nightmare, my ruin chose me. Together, we walked forward, no longer predator and prey, but two broken souls who somehow made each other whole. Because sometimes love doesn't save you from the fire. Sometimes it teaches you how to burn and still survive. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.